Hi, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Garrett Richardson, and I'm a high performance coach. I work with middle school and high school athletes on how to train their mind as they do their body. Because Hall of Fame coach Nolan Richardson and I do take this pandemic very seriously, we will be sitting 6 feet apart as well as wearing a mask. With no further ado, let's begin. Hi, and welcome to episode 2 of Conversations with Grandpa. I'm here with Coach Nolan Richardson, and today we're going to talk about what is basketball to you, and what's your thoughts about today's game?
Well, first of all, basketball to me is more than, it became a key, like the key to open doors. Basketball was the key for me to be able to play the game and take that game and get a college degree from the sport or the basketball. And so, the game is for different reasons. When we were growing up, there was no such thing as getting a loan or getting to college because we were very, very poor. And the only way that we had a way out is maybe through getting a scholarship. And I was good enough in the game of basketball, baseball, and football to have that opportunity to go to school. And so, but basketball I chose. And that's what it meant to me. It was a key. That was the key to open doors to whatever else happened.
So, well, before I get to that question, I know you were a hell of a player in baseball as well as football. I believe you were a wideout.
Right.
Why basketball?
Basketball was the most fun because it was indoor and you didn't have to worry about anything outside, right? That was one of the things. And it was a game that where I went to junior high school or elementary school was a little black school called Douglas Elementary, Douglas Junior High, and Douglas High School, all on one campus.
Okay.
Everybody knew everybody. And so we had some pretty good basketball teams. Had the worst football team in America. So it didn't intrigue me as much looking at those guys play back in those days, And of course, I ended up going to a high school and playing at Bowie High School and playing football, baseball, and basketball, and track. People don't know that I even ran track in college, but No one ever knew about it because I was so damn slow. But I was a high jumper.
Okay.
I was a high jumper. I won a couple of events. I was really proud of that. My best jump was like 6'6", 6'7".
Wow.
And I'm about 6'2", 6'3" and a half at the most. And so sports, basketball just happened to be the glamour game, the game that everybody, was an opportunity. We had guys that had from the Douglas School had went off to college because of the fact they were pretty good to the black colleges. We hardly ever had kids go to the University of Minnesota, the University of Kentucky, or the University of Tech. We had none of that.
Right.
And of course we weren't accepted in those days. So you played as hard as you could and hope and pray that good things would happen and give you an opportunity to get a college education from the game of basketball in my case.
So, what do you think about today's game? Very different from when you coached and played. What's your thoughts about today's game? I mean, it can be from the high school level, college, middle school, pros. I mean, your overall thoughts about today's game.
Well, I think the game is not going to me, the game hasn't really changed.
Okay.
The game has changed, if it has changed any, is because they added a three-point line.
Okay.
They've added a little bit more distance to shooting. The only thing that I would advocate in the high school game is a clock. They don't have a shot clock. And so therefore, players, to me, don't get developed as well because you don't have to shoot. ever.
Right.
In high school. At least they started off at 45 seconds, found out that's a long time going down the floor and not shooting. And then now it's 30 seconds. Well, it's the same thing. If I'm a college coach and I'm going to a high school game, I want to see you dribble, pass, shoot, and the whole 9 yards. Well, usually what I'm going to see with a team that runs a slow down game is pass, 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 pass. And it looks good. But the scores are going to be low, and youngsters don't get a chance to use what the good Lord gave them, the gift, because all you're doing is passing the ball.
Right.
I mean, so the game, in one hand, is very good, but because it's 94 at college level and 50 wide, and it's still 10 feet high, and the ball goes in the goal, and the offense who scores the most wins, or who stops someone from scoring the most wins.
Right.
So that's why you got offense and defense.
Yes.
You see, a lot of us, we look at just the offensive end. Well, he didn't score. Well, you didn't either. That's the object of the game, is to outscore the opponent by the clock. I said I used to have a press conference, and they'd always say, Coach, what do you think of the game, especially if we lost? I would say, well, I never have lost a game, and I don't think I'll ever lose a game. What do you mean, you just lost one? I said, no, the time ran out. If the time runs out, we're going to talk about that one day. We're going to talk about time, and
right.
that is so important that youngsters don't understand.
Yes, it's so. With today's game, if you were thrown into a high school head coaching position, what would you do today to be successful?
Oh, I certainly do some things. When I first got the high school job at Bowie High School, 1967, you think you're equipped, but you're not really equipped until you not only understand the game, but you understand the players. You understand the nature of the game, and you have to me, develop a philosophy that you believe in, and then you stick and work with that philosophy. I didn't have all that when I started. I knew that this is some of the things that we needed to do. But as I began to coach over the years, and I started like 7th and 8th and 9th and then to the high school, you start developing more and more understanding of what you really want, and trying to make guys or kids or players and girls included to see what you see. In other words, I want you to see the game through my eyeballs, not yours.
Right.
Because that way I can take you a different place when you can't see that place. It's like I would always say, show me a lesson, don't tell me about the lesson. If you show it to me, I can see it, and I can do it. If you don't show it to me, and you tell me, but I didn't see it, it's a little bit hard to understand that how can I do it?
Right.
So those are the kind of things that I tried to understand when I came out of as a coach. Things came easy to me, but they don't come as easy to the guy that I'm coaching, maybe.
Right.
And that's why I don't see great players who play in the NBA become great coaches, because it's so easy for what they did. They expect for that to happen.
Right.
It doesn't work that way, I don't think. And so I think you develop, as you go along, you continue to develop philosophy about what's important to the individual, and then what is important to your team.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, leave us a comment. Basically, show us some love. And if you have a question for Coach Richardson or I, leave it in the comment box. You never know. It might be the question I ask in our next episode. Thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you the next go around with Conversations with Grandpa.